Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another live stream with LessonPix. And my friend Tara Roehl from Colorado is back. It's only been a week and you're already back.
I know, you just missed me.
I missed you so much. So we're going to actually talk about some things that happened since last week. So for those of you who didn't catch it, last week we had a pretty well-received video, right? We talked for about a half an hour on how to do telepractice using LessonPix. And she thought I was bored because I kept taking notes. I was not bored. I did take some notes. They're right here. And they were all things that she was doing that she shouldn't have to do if LessonPix stepped up and made things a little bit easier. And over the last week, we did them, right?
Yes.
Yes. And you're happy.
I'm so happy.
So happy. All right. So my problem last week was you had a bad process and we were a good part of it. Like you did your work in LessonPix and it was nice. You had a PDF file. You did a whole bunch of garbage grunt work. And then you had it in PowerPoint and you could do a great experience with your kids, right?
I feel it was pretty ingenious, but yes.
It was ingenious garbage grunt work. And I'm a firm believer that if we've got work that can be automated by a computer, let's do it. Right?
Yes.
So that's what we did. That's exactly what we did. And we made it live today about an hour ago. And so if you're good with it, Tara, I would like to kind of walk them through and you can tell me how this works for you and how this is going to change your workflow and things like that.
Absolutely.
Okay? All right. So the goal here again was to take the PDFs that we're generating and make them usable in PowerPoint, primarily as a background slide. And sometimes not as a background, but to do that simply. So that's what we did. Let me share my screen. And
so for those who didn't catch last week, I would download it as a PDF. I would take the PDF. I would put it into a free software called GIMP.
Which nobody knows how to use.
Right, which I only ever use. It's only my best friend to convert PDFs. To convert the PDF to a PNG, which is an image file, then I would take the PNG and put it into PowerPoint as my backgrounds for every single PowerPoint, every single LessonPix thing I use.
Every page of every PowerPoint.
Every page of every. If it was multiple pages, I had to do it one by one to convert them all into images, then take them back to PowerPoint. And
so we realized that in this time, you can't all learn to do all of that effectively in a week. But we can drop everything and we can go forward without adequate testing, which is what we're doing here. So please be gentle if there are bugs, okay?
Extend grace.
But within 1 week, we were able to crank out a tool that does everything. We are replacing Tara with a very small shell script. All right. So let's go ahead and see how this works. So the place you'll probably notice it the biggest is when you're making your own materials. So let's do that first. I'm going to zoom in a little so you guys can see better. I'm logged into to LessonPix. I'm logged in as me. I usually log in as a test user, but it doesn't matter. I've got a bunch of bugs in my tray. I've got some other stuff that doesn't really match, so let's get rid of those. Let's pretend you did a Sound Finder search or you went to the category, you found a bunch of bugs, and this is what you want to work on today. When you hit Create Materials, you get your normal wizard, and you can say we're going to make, I don't know, bingo daubers, right? So bingo daubers, not a game. This one. Oops, that one. Sorry. I'm clicking on the demo screen up there, which is a common thing. Sorry. We'll hit next. I've got my words. I hit next. I choose my options. I choose a sane font, and I hit finish. It's going to generate the same PDF files. Nothing has changed here except this little button that says other download formats. So in addition to PDF, and we did make the PDF, it's there. If you hit other download formats, it will take you to the Sharing Center page, the page for this material. And there are 3 new options. Okay, so the first says PowerPoint fixed plain. The second says PowerPoint fixed with tokens. And the third says PowerPoint movable. And I would bet there will be more formats coming up as people request them. So these are all the things you showed last week, and they're just ready. So this is my PDF file right here. And let's go ahead and choose PowerPoint fixed plain. It will generate a PowerPoint that wraps the PDF file. I will download it here. It's going to open up in PowerPoint. All of you went away for a second. Are you all back?
Froze for a second on all our screens.
So it was only the video that froze. Any rate, so let me go back. I was on this screen. I hit download and I went to this screen, and then the network froze, I guess. But Lori's back and everybody looks like they're back. So so here we are in PowerPoint. We hit enable editing. And now I have a PowerPoint that has 2 pages because it was going to need 2 pages. Every one of these, like if I try to move this around, I can't because it is a background. And I can add whatever we want, right? So if I wanted to add a picture to drag on top of this, if I wanted to draw on it, whatever we wanted to work on, we could. But we don't have the next step you showed last week, which was dragging and copying pictures in here. I can, if I wanted to go into LessonPix and find a picture, I don't know, I'll just take this one. I can always copy it, go into PowerPoint and hit paste, and I'll have a picture, and that's great. But we figured out that there's a bunch of people who are just going to want tokens, right? They're going to want tokens that they can use on all their materials. So I'll go back to the material we just made. And the second option here says PowerPoint fix. Let me zoom in so you guys can read this. And so the second one here says with tokens. I'll click on that. It will generate that one. I will click here. It'll open PowerPoint. Not crash this time. The computer did not crash. That was just StreamYard. I don't know what that was about. But you'll see here I have the exact same PowerPoint file. But on the left and right, you'll see all the tokens you might need. And these are in here just as images you can use. So if you want to use a splat, which I know Tara likes her splats.
I do.
Maybe there's 2 kiddos. You've got your 2 splats. And all this other stuff you can just delete. Right? So you pick the things you want. Maybe you want, instead, you wanted, pieces to go on a board or whatever it is. Delete the rest. And now if you wanted to have more of these splats, you could just duplicate them. And the kids can move them around whenever they want, which I think this is like most of the grunt work is gone, right?
It's true.
It's true. And the kids can move them around. You'll share the screen via Zoom, and that'll work, correct?
Share the screen via Zoom and then give them cursor control on your computer. And then, they can
turn
move
on
around.
annotations if they want to draw, correct?
Yep, turn on annotations if they want to draw. But if you want to save the progress in the drawings, or if they're marking up on it, then go ahead and use the drawing tools built into PowerPoint.
Right. So there are annotation tools built into PowerPoint as well, right?
Yeah. All
right. So those are those 2. I will show the third one. It is simpler, but it might have, I think it has different uses.
Yeah.
So if I have this same Bingo Daubers page, the last option here says PowerPoint movable. And so if I click on that, it will generate it. And it only generates it the first time you click it. So the second time you click it, it'll already be there. And when I download this, it will have a full page, normal, full screen PowerPoint presentation. So these are not resized to match the page size, but the pages are actually in here and movable. So if you wanted to resize these, if you wanted to crop them, if you wanted to duplicate them and have multiple ones around, I wish it wouldn't do that, but you have full ability to control these as normal images. So if you wanted to add drop shadows, you could do that. If you wanted to, anything you could do with a normal image, you can do with these pages, and they should kind of rock. So those are the 3 new options, and they're pretty darn powerful for what you guys are doing right now, right?
They're fantastic.
All right. So
it's so nice and quick.
And they are directly in response to what you showed last week. Yeah. Right?
See, I didn't even know I needed to ask you for that. So
you should have asked me for that.
Always just ask Bill. He can always say no. He doesn't have a problem saying no.
Mental note, if anybody out there has times when they are doing something with LessonPix and then they're doing something else that's really not effective, and then they're ending up with something that they really need, tell us, because maybe we can pick up that piece that you're working on. And in this day and age, when so many people are trying to do teletherapy or work from home or send home stuff, if I can spend a few hours and crank this out once, all of you are saying you're going to save hours from this.
Yes.
Right? So
absolutely.
All right. So let me give you control of the screen and let you show off a little bit, if you're good with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So, all right. So that is your screen, not mine.
Yes. Nope,
All right,
that's mine.
and I will shut up.
I've been playing with it since last night when we had our emergency meeting about all the awesome developments. And so I was playing with it and playing with it this morning, and it's fantastic. I am a huge fan. One of the things I had mentioned in the talk last week, and what I do with a lot of them, is I actually make student notebooks. So I'm going to kind of walk through and show you the way I would from scratch do this to then continue building a student notebook like you see here. It requires like a same but different step from what most people would normally do. So show you how I do it, and then maybe even cut down on the frustration as well. So I am logged into my LessonPix here, and I went ahead and pulled up just a bunch of initial L sounds using the sound finder. So what I've been doing is I like the games. I like the games a lot. And so that's what I use a ton in my telepractice, is pulling in the games to work with my clients. So I went to game board. Love all those words. But then I went through, and one of the things I mentioned last week is one thing with PowerPoint is everything has to be horizontal or everything has to be vertical. So I've been kind of digging through, because right now I'm working in a horizontal game board. A vertical game board. And so I went through and was trying to find some more games that I could add to their notebook that was vertical, just to keep it in that notebook. A lot of my clients actually have two notebooks, same horizontal and vertical notebook. But since I'm in the vertical notebook today that I was playing with, so I went ahead and I like the ladders and slides game too. That one's fun. And again, one of the good reasons of putting it into PowerPoint is you can save your progress on it and come back. So I like this longer game because it's something that might take us a few sessions to get through, which is why I don't like using the annotate feature. I like it in PowerPoint. So then I finish it up. Then I hit other download formats. I love that it's right there on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure I got the tokens too, since we'll be playing a game board. And then I'll load that up. Now, here's where I think a few people, if they wanted to make the notebooks, this is the one step where they might get the hiccup. So I'm going to hit enable editing. I'm actually going to minimize this a little bit, because most people, what you're going to do is if you wanted to put a bunch of games into one notebook, let's say you're just making a whole notebook just of initial L sounds, and you've created a ton of different things. You're just making yourself an L workbook that you can just pull up to work with the student. A lot of people would just go ahead and hit Control-C on this, which is going to be part of the step. Then they might come over. This is my student notebook over here. And if I paste it in, I got all my tokens over. But what I actually am not moving over is the background.
Which is important for us.
Right. That's kind of the main reason that we did all this. So I've got it back over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click the slide. And when I click the slide, if you look right up here, I'll maximize this one. You look right above it, there's a format painter. It's this nice little paintbrush right here. So I'm going to click format painter, and then I'll actually go back over to the other one, and you'll see if you look next to my cursor right there, it's got a little paintbrush next to it. So I'll click that here. And it's my background. So it's moved over. So it's a great way to combine a bunch. If you're going to just like prep a bunch of materials, or, if you're suddenly on telepractice, it's the weekend, it's like, okay, I need to get ready. Whether you're going to make student notebooks or whether you're going to make notebooks by goals or anything like that, you can just start prepping the notebooks together in one place and kind of have that reference, and then just quickly copy and paste it either over to the student notebook or work in the L workbook for that day.
So this is not, it is not a, it's not a bug, right? So much as it is the way PowerPoint works. And I will show you something interesting, and I'll have you do it. Will you do me a favor? Will you go back to the one you were starting from?
Yep.
And right click on that slide and say copy slide. So the actual slide icon on the right, on the left up there.
Oh, up here?
Down over the picture.
What do you want me to click on?
Right there. Right click. Say copy.
All right.
Go back to the other one. All right. So right there where where the white page is, right click and see where it says paste options. The middle one says keep source formatting. If you click there you go.
You get it all as well.
You get it all as well. So the idea here is that if you're in business and you're copying information from one PowerPoint slide to another, you want it to match the destination because everybody's using the same template and everybody's the same backgrounds. And here, no, we want to keep our background. And so you can either copy paste the formatting later, or if you do that keep source formatting, it will actually copy the whole thing over as well. So I think it's great that you thought enough to see that problem, and we fixed it. Right? It's all good.
Yeah.
So so that's great. And so you create one of those notebooks for all your kiddos?
Yep, every client I work with has their own notebook. So I have one little guy who's been working with me for about 2.5 years now, and I actually opened up his in a webinar I was doing last night. I removed identifying information just to show the concept of creating a student notebook, and I think he has 222 slides in his student notebook.
Wow!
And that's just because some things we do copy week to week, including those background images, because they're things we do every week for check-in. I always ask the 3 same questions. We always check in with the clock, things like that. But then we build slides as we go based on what we need to address that week and plug it in as well. And then I'll actually sometimes put in those like sections,
right?
So that I can just condense them by date. So I can look back at the dates and find the last time we talked about this, or that one time when we were doing this kind of thing, or maybe a background that I'd already set.
Right.
Maybe, a LessonPix game I had already made, or a behavior map, or a worksheet out of story grammar marker that I already made. And I'm going and can plug that in really quick, but I keep them all in one PowerPoint because therefore it's like their file.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's easy and it rolls with them going forward, and it's data tracking for you. It's all good.
Yep.
So we do have some questions, but I think I'm going to hold off just for a few minutes. I mean, a lot of people, are just like, this is amazing, and oh my God, it's so cool, and it's all good. We're so amazing. Turns out we're amazing. Thank you all for saying that. I won't spend a lot of time on those, although they feel good. But there are some actual questions that we will move forward with. But at the moment, I have another guest. So my co-founder and bride is going to join us. Hi, Lori.
Hi.
Hi. So look, you're stuck between 2 LessonPixes.
I am. It's a great place to be.
Yes. There you go. So Lori, you love this feature.
I've been playing all day. I'm so excited about it, and I'm blown away. Like,
I told Lori last night we were going to announce it today at 5 o'clock, and she's like, "What?" Testing be damned. We'll test it live. There's not enough time. Too many people are trying to do this. So, So Lori, you've got some other things to show, and then I have some actual technical things that have been asked during the day that I will answer as well. But Tara, don't go away. You're coming back, but I'm gonna take you out of the stream for a second. So wave your hands if you need to get our attention.
Okay.
All right. Thank you for doing all this. Hi, Lori.
I'm at her house.
So let me add your screen.
Okay.
Cool. And so show me some of the things that you saw on this that you found kind of awesome.
Well, I think part of it is just seeing the power. I mean, I've used PowerPoint forever for presentations, but I haven't played with it from the perspective of like Telepractice before.
Right.
Yeah.
Telepractice is it's a new beast. And really, you've been a special ed pre-K and early childhood teacher for years. That's never been a remote thing until now, right?
Right. That even wouldn't have crossed my mind for the age I work with. So,
right.
Yeah, this has been so exciting.
It's been crappy, but this part of it's been exciting. So.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
It was very crappy, and the reason we're doing this, but what you did in such a short amount of time, based on just Tara talking last week, has been incredible. No. That we're now using LessonPix within PowerPoint this way.
That's what happens when you lock me in a house and don't let me out. So, all right. So, but you're showing us something that you made that I love. I love what you did here. So
it's just features within PowerPoint, and of course, as I'm using it, I'm thinking of more and more PDFs that we generate that are so usable within PowerPoint and all the cool things it does. So today I made brown bear, and honestly, I just grabbed any group of pictures in your LessonPix. I just grabbed some images, threw them in my tray, and I picked brown bear for no reason. And I put them in. I made one-page pictures, which makes lovely flashcards that you can just scroll through. And then I found this cool feature where you can take a slide. It's the zoom tool. And you can take another slide and just drag it onto, and it's a link to the next slide. I can put it anywhere. I can format it like an image. Let's see, let me do that. If I go to format over here, I can make this look like it's a page coming up and turn it just like that. And so then I do that. And then if I did the next one, I can throw in
the next one,
the yellow duck, and same kind of thing. So when I'm ready to look at my PowerPoint using one-page pictures from the beginning, I see my brown bear, and as I click on my red bird, it just kind of zooms in like a Prezi presentation, and it just flows. And then if I put another one up in the top corner, I can go backward and forward through a story, playing with the story while engaging with the child on the screen. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is very incredible.
And you can go, yeah, you can go forward and back, right? You can add them to go forward and backwards.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah. And so we've added, you know, yellow duck, what do you see? And then you can click forward and say, I see a blue horse looking at me. But I would do this with language or with social skills or reading a story. I thought this was just a neat transition tool, seeing what's ahead and what's behind while you're working with your pictures.
And that took very little work. You generated our one-page pictures. So you found the pictures from Brown Bear, which for those of you who don't know is already collected in LessonPix. There's a folder with the pictures that correspond to that story. You threw them in your tray, you made one-page pictures, downloaded as a PowerPoint, and then you drag the next slide onto the one that you're currently looking at.
Yep.
And that's it.
That's it. It was that
you
easy.
Jump to the white dog if you do that, right? But then you'd be out of order and they'd all be confused.
So I don't want to do that.
You don't want to do that.
That would be
so.
But again, I've been playing all day. I've played with all kinds of different features. I've made 2 picture cards per page to give them a choice about what comes next, and thought, ooh, I can right-click copy, right-click paste, and go ahead and put it in here and let the kids choose what would be the next answer. So I've just been going through making more and more things from just the simple set of pictures.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm gonna bring Tara back for a second. Hi, Tara.
Hello.
So I love what both of you are showing, and it shows that, you know, the power of PowerPoint is there. We've said for years, I've said in my spiel, don't make me be a bad PowerPoint. I don't want to do interactive stuff, or don't make me be a bad smart notebook or whatever. But I don't think we ever realized the kind of the number of steps necessary to go from what we were generating to what you needed. And I'm really thrilled that we were able to add this. So while again, you're like, me too.
I'm so excited. Yeah. It's so much fun.
While I go back, I do want to go back and ask some questions while the crew is here. So these are where we started, right about here. And there's an awful lot of them that are just happy with us, which is great. But there were some questions. So this one says, if folks don't know how to give cursor control or use the annotation tools, watch the last video from last week.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a follow-up question on this that says, do you have to be in slide mode to use the annotation tools?
Please don't.
Please
always
don't.
Stay in like edit mode. Don't be in presentation mode, because then you're accidentally clicking and moving forward the slides, or you have to turn off that functional steps. I always just work in edit mode, which shows all the slides down the left and kind of where you build your slides, and that's where we play and work.
Gotcha. I guess the exception would be if you're presenting like Lori is. That would be like with the Prezi thing, you have to be in presentation.
Right. If you're going to be like reading the book, like what Lori was doing.
Or do a social story or something like that. Yeah.
Folks think we're awesome. Do you provide these materials to your students for carryover practice? Tara, I guess that's for you.
I don't usually do my whole student notebook, but what's nice is that especially in PowerPoint, you can pick a range of slides to save as like a PDF. And so
Right.
I'll pick a range of slides as a PDF for the parents to then be able to review, like with the kids. Or what's nice is these do work if you upload them to Google Slides.
Yeah.
So I
Yes.
can also
So-
upload it to Google Slides and make it available to a parent as well.
So my next comment was from Beth, who is our SLP and has been helping us through this and making sure we don't forget anything, which is awesome. But yes, all of these do work in Google Slides as well. We've tested all of them. So they are PPTX files, which is Microsoft's open version of PowerPoint, which is good. If you upload them to Google, they show up perfectly. The backgrounds are backgrounds. The images are movable. They look just about exactly the same. I think the only difference I have seen is that when you drag a picture in Google Slides, my answer, when you drag a picture, you're not going to see it. When you drag a picture in Google Slides, it moves the outline box. It doesn't actually move the image until you let go. So if you have a choice, I think PowerPoint's probably your better choice here. But certainly it does work in Google Slides. Let's see. Amanda is the one who asked about the slideshow mode, and the answer there was no. Lisa says, how do you share these things? We just kind of answered that. All right. Amanda asks, will the Brown Bear be available for download in the shared materials? It is. We can certainly put it in the sharing center, but I would bet if you search for Brown Bear, it is there. I'm sure that one is there already. Give a mouse a cookie. Hello, Tally. How are you? This feature is have me converted from a Google Slides bureau back to PowerPoint. Yeah, you never know, right? So, all right. So I think those are the immediate questions we have. I have some things that I would like to show that are technical. We've had a couple questions come up today. And so I'm going to share my screen. And let me make sure I have the right stuff up here. All right. So one thing to note, I'm going to slide you ladies over there. Okay. And you can both still correct me when I'm wrong. Let me share my screen. So guys, feel free wherever you are, if you're on YouTube or Facebook, type in comments. We'll see them as questions and we will answer them. So let's say that we wanted to work on, I don't know, a morning schedule or something where we wanted to replicate the pictures. Here, we'll do this bingo. I don't know how many are here. Actually, something we didn't say yet, Tara, but it is important, is that these aren't just for new things that you create, right? So every material in the sharing center, right? When you go to the sharing center, they all have download as PDF. And if you are logged in, you will also see other download formats. So I didn't create my own bingo game. I just used one that's here, and it will work. So
Which is nice because you don't have to reinvent anything you've already created. Maybe one of your favorite games or one of your favorite LessonPix materials already. You can just go in and convert it over for you.
Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and make something to kind of show this point the best here. So I'm gonna go ahead and make first then boards and hit next. I know that bugs aren't good for first then boards. I do get that. Put whatever pictures you want on here.
First caterpillar, then butterfly. It works, Bill.
Well, okay, that one works. That's very good, very good. I still hate the font, and hit finish. So when I create this, you'll notice that on this template, we have an option on this template that if I do PowerPoint plain and click it, there you go. There we go. First then boards, we'll open it up and say we're going to edit it. So you'll notice that in this template, the way this works is that the last one actually shows first then, and the other ones show what you want to place on it. So I'm going to actually reorder these slides so that the first one is the board. And then on these, you might want to move them up. So a lot of people are like, well, how do I move the pictures around individually as pictures? So how do I cut them and move the individual picture around? And so I wanted to show you the best way I have found. There may be ways that we can think of when we've got more than a week to do it, but the best way that I have found is to use the Snip tool. So on Windows, and all of this stuff is kind of Windows right now. If I hit Windows Shift S, it will pop up the snipping tool. And if I then highlight this guy like this, which hopefully you can see me doing that, it then just copied it to my clipboard. Then I can go back up here to the main first then board, hit paste, and I've got it. And I can move it around. In this case, I was careless and I got a little bit of the next line. I can go into format, hit crop, drag this up a little bit. And there you go. So now I can move this around. I can move that picture around. So I've never left PowerPoint. I'm not exporting and importing. I'm staying in there, and I'm just using the snipping tool. It's called Snip and Sketch tool. There's also the snippet tool, which also work, but you have to open it separately. What's nice about this is it's just you, and I can't show you my keyboard, but I'm holding down the Windows key, which you guys know what the Windows key looks like. It's next to the Alt key, next to your space bar. Windows Shift S, and it goes into copy mode. And then you highlight whatever you want, and it copies it. Okay, so that's one thing that keeps coming up that I thought people would want to know about. Another one is that there are things in here that you might find are faster in some cases than going through copy and pasting things from LessonPix. So if you're in a material like this and you just want something to point, like you want a really big pointer to show where you are, up here under Insert, so there is an icons thing here under PowerPoint, which is good to know about. So if you open it up, you've got all these are black and white icons that you can use, right? So you can certainly go in here, search for an arrow. We'll take, I don't know, this one, insert it. And then you can, I don't know why it always opens, but I hate that. But you can then make this bigger, right? You can move it around to point at things. And this is just a normal icon. You can change the color. Like you want to have a green one, you can have a green one. And so if you're using this, if you're looking for things to get kids' attention, like an eyeball, these are in here. You don't have to start from scratch. I would love to make it easier for you to get to the pictures in your tray. I will work on that. But I think right now, this is kind of a huge improvement, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So I think those are what we wanted to cover, and we're right at 5:30-ish.
Yeah.
Let me see if we have any other questions. All right. So Beth says, don't work in the PPTX version for the tokens, but what she really means is when you drag it to Google Drive, make sure you click Open in Slides. So maybe we should do that. Would you guys like me to do that?
Yeah.
Show how to do this in Slides. Sure. Hold on a second. Let me bring up my slides. And I'm intentionally not showing everything what's in my slides. Oh, well, who cares? You all can see what's in my slides. So here's my slide area. And there you go. We'll hide what Beth said. So so here's my slides. And if I say in Drive, I don't want to be in Slides. I want to be in Drive. So in Google Drive, if this is where you're sharing things and you say New, when you say File Upload and you choose a PowerPoint file, like, I don't know, these first then boards, right? When you hit Open, it's going to upload it. And then when you click on it, it's going to open like this. And if you stay here, the tokens don't show up. You can't move anything. And it's going to be frustrating because this is just the preview, right? You have to hit this button up here that says Open with Google Slides. And if you do that, everything will work. And I think, Beth, that's really what you're talking about. It's converting it right now into slide format. And
you can also do it if you're inside a blank slides already.
Yeah, you can do import slides.
You could just do File, Import Slides, and it'll take care of all that for you as well.
And so in this case, everything will work, and the tokens will be here, and they'll be set up as backgrounds. Mm-hmm. So that's, I believe, and Beth, you can tell me if I'm reading you correctly on that. Let's see. When you download, the Brown Bear picture, which formats do they need to be in? It doesn't matter. It would work in any of them at all. The one, Lori, you used the plain fixed ones for that, I believe, correct?
Are you talking about one-page pictures? Or
yeah, so you use one-page pictures to generate the PDF. Yes. I think the question here is, do they need to be movable? And the answer is no. you use the fixed plane, right?
I did use the fixed plane. Exactly. Yeah.
Gotcha.
But on the ones where I added the choice cards or needed to adjust, I had to do the movable objects one, and then I can fix them later if I wanted to fix them.
Gotcha.
In place.
Next question, how does that work on a Mac? So I have not tested it on a Mac.
I answered that one.
Okay. All right. It should work because it's a normal PowerPoint file, but go ahead, Tara.
It's Command-Shift-4 for the cropping tool. She asked that while you were talking about how to do the cropping of individual images, and the shortcut on the Mac is Command-Shift-4 for that.
Okay. So 2 answers there. The first is this should work fine on the Mac. If you have anything that'll read a normal PowerPoint file, it should work. I have not tested it with the Apple Slides, whatever it's called. But if you have actual PowerPoint, it certainly should work. And so your second question, yes, with the snipping tool is Command-Shift-4. Thank you, Tara, for that. Can you use the snipping tool for, hi, Teresa, can you use the tool for large and small pictures? Absolutely. In addition, I have a request in, right, Lori?
Oh my goodness, yes, you do. This is snowballed into a lot of work for Lori.
Yes, exactly.
Sorry, Lori.
It's all good, though. I'm so excited about it.
So the request is to have 2 more materials. So if you think about what I showed on First Then boards, we have an option which puts the pictures on separate pages. So there are other templates too that stand out right away, large and small pictures, and I'm working for that we're going to add that option to. And so Lori and I have to work together to make that happen, and we will this week.
Yep.
Sure, this week. If I can do this in this week, we can certainly do that. Beth says that on a Chromebook it works a little different, and we'll answer that when I do have a Chromebook I can test on. I can answer that.
It's not been through thorough testing, so
yeah, no, absolutely true.
We haven't tried it on the devices either or anything. Yeah.
Right. So Amanda says, in PowerPoint, I saw there's a screen clipping under insert screenshot. Fabulous. So we're going to find out a lot more about PowerPoint than we ever wanted to know. But I think this certainly is a big help. And so thank you, Tara, for the idea. Lori, thank you for helping me and with the patience for letting this get done and drop everything else to make this happen.
And I would like to hear what people's favorite templates are to use in PowerPoint. Like I've already found the question cards are very powerful.
Right.
And same with, as we'd expect, the books and stories are very
And the
powerful.
games. The game boards are going to be big
Boards
too.
that Tara has talked about, the one-page pictures. So it'd be nice to make sure we have a strong library. I would always choose the single page, the full page on all of those templates.
Yeah, that's a good tip. So if you're looking at things like the books and stories, we always choose full page, not half page or quarter page. So the other tools, either the PDF viewer or PowerPoint, is going to do a better job of rearranging those pages for you because we don't know anything about your printer when we generate those. So just make it full size. If I could, I would remove those other options, but I don't think that's an option we can do. What else is there to talk about? I guess the only other thing is what's next. We will continue to test this. There are other formats that would help people. I don't know what they are. I don't think it's Word. I don't think anybody in Telepractice is using Word right now, but it might be. Word is one that we could do. There are a lot of formats that we can do because they're published and relatively easy to test, or because the people want to work with us. There are other formats that aren't for all the opposite reasons. If you've got a request, let us know. By all means, support@lessonpix.com. Make sure you say, I have an idea for Telepractice. It will make it to me eventually within a few hours. And we are looking for those. So if there's a way for us to work with Active Inspire and you're using it, but focus on things that people are really using, right? Don't just throw out your favorite stuff. These are things that people are using right now in this situation to get ahead. Okay. Finally, we are going to have another. So Tara, you're not. We love you, but you're not going to join us on this one. But we're going to have another chat tonight, which Lori might not even know about, in about an hour. So let's say 6:30. I'm going to announce it right when we're done here, and we're going to have a state of the company kind of thing. So we're going to go over how's LessonPix doing, what's going on, what has changed around here since the coronavirus changes, and things like that. A lot of our customers are sending us questions or requests and other things that I think if we were a little bit more about up front about how things were. I think it'd be good for everybody, customers and us alike. So we're gonna do that in about an hour, and Lori will join me for at least the questions part of that. Right, dear?
Okay.
Okay. So,
I will.
I gave you warning. I gave you a full hour warning. So, but I want to thank everybody. Eileen is so just so you guys know, our director of support director is Eileen Humphreys, and she is awesome. If you've ever called and gotten Eileen, that's her. And she says she loves you also, which is awesome. There's a request about boom cards. Tara, tell me about boom cards. I know nothing.
All right. So boom cards are very hot right now in telepractice. And what do you want me to show you a boom card real quick?
Sure. Lori, I'm going to close you for a second.
Yes.
All right. You can show me a boom card. Go ahead.
Okay. So boom cards are pretty hot topics right now.
Thank you, Bridget, for bringing them up.
So boom cards are like interactives. So you buy the decks from either bloggers or from TPT or places like that, or you can create your own. It's not the most user-friendly interface, but they're extremely popular in telepractice because you can open them up like this, and then you can immediately give cursor control. And then, there's hot buttons, and then, there's follow directions, and then there's pictures hidden underneath.
Gotcha.
Like this. But really, this is what we are doing
in PowerPoint. Okay.
Boom cards has the ability to share it. Like you can share the link so that they can access it and do it. But that's exactly what we're doing in PowerPoint with Google Slides.
Gotcha.
And letting them play the things on Google Slides as follow up our homework, those kinds of things. But what boom cards are is people are making these, there's other ones that have a lot of them are just kind of like using those hot buttons, almost like what Lori was showing by dragging the next slide down to move forward, those kinds of things. There's people have themed them for different sounds, different concepts, even just games to play, like drag things to feed animals, those kinds of things. But that's what you're doing. And you actually can do, if you really mess around with PowerPoint, it's highly involved. But if you mess around with it, there are ways to set hot buttons and to make things click and do other things and connect to their slides, things like that.
So I will look at the business side of that, see if that's something that would be where they would be amenable to it, or if it's a good fit for us. But technically, we can certainly look at that. It looks like it is it looks like it's popular based on the comments. So we'll take a look at that. But if there's others as well, let me know. And if there's anybody at one of these other companies that wants to play with us, it's a good time to play with us because we're all trying to adapt very quickly. So a couple just goodbyes here. So Beth says Eileen's the best. I agree with her. She is the best. And Brittany says thank you. So I think we got a yay Lori in there as well. So Lori, look, you moved. You slid.
This is my favorite spot to be.
All right, I think we're good. So Tara, I don't think this is going to be a weekly thing with you. Although if you ever want to come back, tell me, and we love having you.
I love y'all.
Every Tuesday at 5, we'll do Tuesdays with Tara. Tuesdays with Tara. So, I want to thank you for the ideas and for helping us test this as we did this. And I am going to see a lot of you at 6:30 Eastern Daylight, which is about 45 minutes from now. And otherwise, as always, good luck and have fun. Bye, guys.